Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to Outdoor and Door Texan. Today I'm going to show you how I make barbecue chicken halves. They're one of the best bang for your buck barbecue choices out there. They're great for parties, they cook evenly and hold a ton of moisture, and I'll even show you a few of my tips and tricks on how to get that perfect crispy skin. Getting right to it, we're starting with the whole chicken. If you're trying to feed a whole backyard full of people, maybe grab a few more, but for the sake of this recipe, I'm just working with one. Now to prep the chicken, grab a sharp knife or some poultry shears and start out by cutting off those pesky wing tips. They are primarily cartilage and they tend to burn, so they gotta go. Find that small joint where the wing tip connects with the wing flat and push your knife right through. After the tips, we're now gonna cut out the spine of our bird. This step should be familiar to you if you've ever made a spatchcock chicken. Flip your bird where it's breast side down and run some poultry shears or a sharp knife along both sides of the spine until it breaks loose. And don't forget to save those chicken scraps. I usually toss them into a Ziploc bag that I keep in the freezer until it's time to make chicken stock. After removing the spine, flip that bird over and press down firmly on the breast until you feel a crunch or two and the chicken lays out fully flattened. Now for the last step, once again, take a knife or poultry shears and carefully cut down the center of your chicken's breastbone to make 2 chicken halves. If you're not using a heavy cleaver, you sometimes need to put a little oomph in your cut to get through that breastbone. Just keep hacking at it until you've got 2 pieces. Now let's move on to making the brine. And if you're not brining your barbecue chickens, you're missing out on a very easy way to make every single cook juicy and tender. Start out by filling a large pot or bowl with 4 quarts of water. Add half a cup of kosher salt and 2/3 of a cup of granulated sugar. Then mix the water until there isn't a single speck of sugar or salt showing on the bottom and the ingredients are completely dissolved. Some people like to boil their brine to ensure everything is well mixed, but I don't think that's necessary as long as you're able to mix thoroughly enough to get everything dissolved. But hey, you do you. Our simple brine is ready, so toss your chicken halves into the water and weigh them down with a plate or some other heavy thing if any parts start floating above the surface. Set that pot in your fridge for a few hours up to overnight, depending on how much time you have. Even a couple hours of brining makes a huge difference, so try your best to plan ahead and get this step covered. All right, the chicken spent the night in our brine, and we're now ready to take them out, sprinkle on some seasoning, and start the cooking. One of the most essential steps in getting that crispy skin is to dry off your chicken. I like to rest the halves on a wire rack when they're fresh out of the water so they can drip dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then I move right to the tried and true paper towel pat down. Pat every square inch of that chicken skin and don't forget the nooks and crannies. After the pat down, grab your favorite binder of choice, I'm using olive oil, and sprinkle on your seasoning. I'm working with 2 different blends I've picked up along the way. Another fun perk of chicken halves is that you have the opportunity to season each piece with different flavors. It's a great way to compare and contrast seasonings, and your guests get a little variety to choose from. With all the prep done, let's head outside and get this bird on the smoker. I'm using my big green egg for this cook, but you can work with just about any setup that you have on hand as long as you can smoke both indirect and then finish over direct heat. Indirect means the chicken isn't sitting directly over hot coals and flames. There's a barrier or space between the meat and the heat. Big green eggs use a plate setter. You can also use a pellet smoker, electric smoker, or even Weber grills if you can make enough room where one side has coals and the chicken can sit on the other side where there are no coals. Long story short, keep the chicken away from direct flames and coals and you'll be good to go. For the first portion of this cook, we're going to smoke these halves at around 275 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit until the internal temperature hits 145. And speaking of internal temperatures, this is a great time to talk about today's sponsor for this video, my good friends over at Chef's Temp and their brand new Pro Temp 2 Plus. Now, this is Chef's Temp's second iteration of the Pro Temp featuring a new and improved probe. It's ultra thin and built like a tank, with a ceramic coating that can handle ambient temperatures up to a scorching 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They also use a dual sensor design with both a thermocouple and digital sensor, giving you a precise reading within an accuracy of 1 degree, so you know your readings are always going to be accurate. The base can charge and connect up to 3 probes simultaneously, but here's the game changer for my fellow pitmasters, the unlimited range monitoring. It uses both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which means once you set it up, you can monitor your grill through the app from anywhere you have a cell signal. And last but certainly not least, it can pair with the Chef's Temp Brizo fan system and automatically control your grill temperature. You set the target and it handles the airflow for you. Seriously, set it, forget it, and enjoy a perfect smoke every single time. Click on the link in the comments below to check out the Chef's Temp's Pro Temp 2 Plus for yourself, and make sure to use the code TEXAN for additional savings at checkout. All right, back to the chicken. It's been about an hour and our halves have hit their target temperature of 145 degrees internal. So we're going to take them off our smoker, remove the plate setter, and get that heat cranked up to 400 degrees. Along with drying your chicken skin, finishing them on high direct heat has consistently been the secret ingredient for perfect crispy skin. The temp has climbed up to 400 degrees, so we're ready to put the chicken back on. This is going to be a pretty quick high heat finish where we're wanting to see internal temps in the breast hit about 165 and the thighs top out somewhere around 170 to 175. And one more crispy skin tip: if you're really worried about getting that perfect snap and crunch, flip the halves over so they're skinned down on the grill and let them go for just a few minutes, but really keep a close eye on them so they don't burn. You're literally playing with fire here. My Pro Temp 2 is beeping at me, so that means the chicken halves hit their target temps and we're ready to take them off. They smell fantastic, and just look at that color. These are gonna be perfect. I was really happy with the results of this cook. The skin pulled away from the bone and tightened up nicely. There was a perfect little snap when I took that first bite, and that brine sure did its job because wow, that meat was very juicy and tender. These chicken halves are great for family dinners or backyard barbecue parties because they're easy to prep, very forgiving to smoke, and absolutely delicious. That'll do it for this one. Thank y'all so much for watching, and as always, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know how yours turn out, and feel free to share any tried and true tips and tweaks of your own. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, it helps me out a ton, and you'll have access to plenty of great recipes with even more to come. All right, y'all, take care.